Webster, Griffin, Tarpley, your comments on that and going through ClimateGate emails.
I have to start by saying what a contemptible, impotent little twerp this Herman Van Rompuy really is. That the idea that they make such a person president of Europe, right, which has brought forward some rather significant examples of humanity, that they give it to this little mouse. It shows how pathetic they are. They can be defeated, right? Any opposition led by Herman Van Rompuy can be defeated. So I think, again, the urgent thing now is to get criminal investigations going at NASA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and all of the other.
That's who the emails come from. Explain to people. These are the paramount group running it all.
Yeah, well, this is your University of East Anglia, CRU, the Hadley CRU, the Climate Research Unit, and this is the main input into that intergovernmental panel on climate change with their pompous and bombastic, stupid report from early 2007, which was then used by Al Gore to launch that big campaign of his in the first half of 2007. And it turns out it's a fraud, and it's an international conspiracy, and you can't just proceed as if nothing has happened, which is what these Rompuy guys...
And for those that don't know, the BBC finally broke their week-long blockade and said, we're investigating who stole the data. They admit it's real, and now, Times of London, climate change data dumped. The universities destroyed it all.
Yes, well, unfortunately, the world is not controlled by the British Official Secrets Act, which they're probably going to try to use. But now, here's the thing. The Copenhagen conference starts on December 7th. Boy, what a day. Pearl Harbor Day, they start the conference. The absolute imperative is this conference must fail. It must be a stalemate, a deadlock, a gridlock. Nothing should get through. Now, there was already this secret diplomacy by Obama. One of the top oligarchs at the United Nations is this Ivo de Boer. Watch this guy. He's the manager. He's the top honcho of the Copenhagen Climate Conference. And about 10 days ago, Ivo de Boer, B-O-E-R, look him up on the Internet, he had a secret meeting with Obama where they were discussing these fallback positions.
And Obama wasn't going to go, but now he's going.
Now he's going to go. And that's another important thing. Obama has to fall flat on his face. He has to be defeated, humiliated, rejected, scorned. The ingredients are there. The Chinese have come up with a kind of face-saving cover, but they will not accept binding carbon limits. India will not accept binding carbon limits.
Only the West must make the cuts.
Well, yes, in effect. The Africans are concerned about getting development aid, and there's no development aid on the table. These governments are all bankrupt. You've even got the island states, the smaller countries that happen to be islands, are also in a strongly critical position. We saw all of this at the last pre-meeting in Barcelona. So there's every reason to think that this can fail. Now, when Obama goes, he's going to promise a 17% cut in U.S. carbon emissions. We have to say loud and clear, all of us, Obama cannot bind the United States. Obama is a lame duck president. His popularity is through the floor. He's collapsing faster than Jimmy Carter. He's got a bigger left opposition coming at him than Lyndon B. Johnson once he announces his war escalation on Monday.
Afghanistan.
On Tuesday, December 1st, he's going to escalate the war in Afghanistan beyond belief. So Obama does not speak for us. And it's really illegal, right? Because this has got to be a treaty. He can't do it with executive agreements. I would warn above all, backroom protocols. Watch out for secret protocols that he will sign with these Eurogarchs and
let me back you up. We now learn there's a secret internet censorship treaty that he won't release. We got copies. Total censorship. They're doing all this by stealth. They're doing this covertly more and more.
And the other thing I would say is the fact that Dubai has now blown up is another...
Yeah, give people some background. Times of London, Dubai in deep water as ripples from debt crisis spread. A 28 billion or 14 billion pound default by the Dubai State Corporation. Again, for those that don't know, that's in the Middle East, the supposed Apple of globalization. You said a year ago here... when we had the last crisis, that when Dubai started to go, that was the signal of the next big slide, Webster.
Well, obviously, these are oil sheiks, right? I mean, the oil is not really in Dubai, but it's close enough. These are your Emirates of the Gulf, right? The Persian Gulf. So these people rub elbows with Kuwait and Qatar and Oman, but this is specifically the United Arab Emirates, the old Trucial states, and there they are with Dubai, where they have all these gigantic building projects, right? The tallest building, the Sail. They have the Palm. They have the World, these island systems where they build houses and so forth and try to get people to invest in this. This has been collapsing now for about a year, right? The foreigners have been fleeing. So now, between Wednesday and Thursday, $80 billion owned by Dubai World, Dubai Ports Authority that Bush wanted to take over the Port of New York. And this Nakheel, that is now in default. And this money is owed to Barclays Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, Lloyds, Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation, Mitsubishi, Mitsui Bank of Japan, and Citibank. One of the things that may happen is that Dubai will sell the Queen Elizabeth II, which they own, to try to get money to pay off these banks. So now there are two things. If you look at the futures for tomorrow, it looks like New York will open down about 200 points.
Yeah, notice that Dubai announced the default when the U.S. markets were closed on Thanksgiving, and we have the big French bank announcing prepare for total collapse.
Yes, indeed. Well, I think these are connected.
What is that, Société? How do you pronounce it?
Société Générale, I think, huh?
Yes.
Yes, remember, they've been bailed out by you through AIG, right?
$50 billion.
Tim Geithner made that possible. So now there are basically two things. One is that the U.S. Bubble, which has been created by Obama with the 0% Federal Reserve lending and the bailout money and all this, that this will now experience a panic crash. So panic in New York is one side of it, but perhaps even more damaging, you have all of these emerging markets which are similar to Dubai. In other words, these hot money paradises. And you can look at Greece, Hungary, Qatar, Turkey, Ireland, India, Russia, Malaysia, down the list, right? All kinds of Estonia, Latvia. These places are all now on the verge of panic. They were already on the verge of panic, and now they may go into panic. Then you have these other places, Ukraine, Latvia, and Iceland, which are basically already in bankruptcy, where this may be enough to push them into debt moratorium, in other words, into a formal default.
And that's what Dubai is calling for. We've only got a minute and a half left, Webster. What about this Russia Today announcement that Russian advisors and equipment are joining the U.S. and coalition in Afghanistan? I've clearly got to have you back up in the next few days on the weekday show.
I wouldn't give that too much significance. I would urge everybody, look at that incident on the Moscow to St. Petersburg Express.
It's a terror attack.
The two possibilities there, all the media mention are, it's Chechen terrorism. Well, that's run by the U.S. and the British, so take that back to London and New York. And it could be these neo-Bolsheviks, right, these neo-Nazis, which are supported by the U.S. This is Limonov and his crew, who are together with Kasparov, and Kasparov is the main darling of the United States in the anti-Putin opposition. So there's a grave suspicion that some kind of a warning was delivered, right? Putin has just been on a tour of Western Europe where he's been getting...
Calling for arresting bankers.
Yes, he made these remarks about Madoff, which didn't please the financial types. And significantly, he's gotten the British to come in on the Nord Stream pipeline, and the French have come in on the South Stream pipeline. So
that's right, that Georgian pipeline just got approved.
Well, but the one that's making progress is the Russian one.
Yeah.
Because the Georgians, it's not...
I meant just north of Georgia into the Black Sea.
This is the South Stream. This is the Russian one. This has got Turkey, Italy, and now France. So here's the idea. The big argument against this cap and trade nonsense is unemployment. Now, if you go into a second round of the Depression, people are likely to say, look, we can't afford any of this now because we're now...
Clearly, cutting our carbon will kill us, even if it was real when it's not.
Right. It simply undermines political support for this even more. So there's a great chance to block this Copenhagen monstrosity, and I urge everybody to do everything they can to do that. Above all,
you know what, Webster, hold on. Webster, the show's over in 30 seconds, but 3-hour show with Jason Burmis. He's got guests coming up, but I got a sneaking suspicion he'd like to have you continue for 30 minutes, and the Infowars.com stream listeners, even if it's not on their local AM and FM, quite a few pick it up. Do you want me to talk to Jason about having you... Okay, let's get Jason in here. Infowars.com audio streams. You want to hear Webster continue if Burmis makes that decision. He does. He just yelled he wants it.